All right, everyone. Welcome to Channelside Bets. You have Nikki and Chip today. I think Evan is what, in the middle of the ocean fishing or something?
I don't know. What is he doing? Fishing? It's December. You're supposed to be playing football and watching football. You're not fishing.
Yes, I know.
So I don't know
Leaving us
what he's doing.
hanging. I know. So I'm apologizing to everybody in advance. Usually Chip and I don't have the controls here for hosting. So if we're a little bare bones today, just bear with us. But we're gonna have a good time. We'll do
Yes.
what we normally do for you guys: NFL news, injury reports, your DFS lineup, and then, of course, our pick'ems. We're going to talk some betting lines. But, Chip, first of all, a little birdie told me that you had a really fun birthday weekend.
I did. I went up to Chattanooga and had a blast. Went up, had some great food, did some sightseeing and whatnot. But yeah, it was a good time. Now, unfortunately, starting to get towards the wrong side of 40 now, 43.
Oh,
So, but continue. Life goes on. But yeah, Chattanooga was great. It was a little bit cold though. Missed the Florida weather tremendously. I think I saw my first almost freezing temperatures, 36 degrees, which I was in a snow cap and 3 jackets, boots. I was the most heavily clothed person, I think, in Chattanooga that one day.
yeah, you guys
So
don't, you Florida guys, you just don't, it hits 50 and you're freezing. So
it is,
30
well,
is,
the
can't
blood
imagine.
thins. The blood thins, Nikki. You're not up
Yeah,
there in Jersey like you
no,
guys. You get blue cold. You get like your
yeah,
toes want to fall off cold, which I don't. I don't like
yes.
that at all.
No, I don't like that either. One day we'll probably migrate south because
There you
I just,
go.
I hate the going out to your car and it's like freezing cold and you got to warm it up and run back in. And I get it all going. I get the seat warmer going. I need the heat blasting. Because then, or then you have to be so bundled up and you're trying to drive. You got like your big hood and yeah, it's just,
The one thing I think about is the kid from the Christmas story that can't move. It's got all the stuff on,
oh,
like the little
yes. The little
kid.
kid. Yeah. That's how I feel in the winter. Um, Oh, yeah. Oh, we're gonna go off the rails today probably because that's what happens when Nikki hosts a show.
Hey, that's
But
okay.
real quick, we just want to remind everybody that Channel Side Bets is brought to you by BetUS.com. Use the promo code Channelside and get a 125% sign-up bonus. That's a
Wow,
lot.
125%.
Yes, we're giving you a lot here.
We're getting maximum bet for your dollar there.
Yeah.
Go to betusa.com, take a look at all the things we're going to discuss today, and make your first bet.
Yes. All right. Should we start with Thursday Night Football? Did you get to watch that game?
I did a little bit. I got to be honest. I was a little taken back by the Baker Mayfield starting, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be horrible. But lo and behold, from the ashes, we get Baker Mayfield. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I think that game, I just can't believe the outcome. I can't believe he was able to put a drive together to bring his team down the field. But B, gosh, if you're the Raiders, what are you doing? Like, what's your story?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
They're another team. I know we crap all over the Broncos, and with good reason for this season, but the Raiders have had just as much as an up and down. I mean, they have weeks where they look fantastic, and you're like, finally, you're getting it together. And they have a lot
Yeah.
of talent on that team. They shouldn't be this up and down. And then they have weeks where it's like, really, what are you doing out there? I think Baker Mayfield gets a lot of hate, and I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I just don't think he's really been in a system or with a coach that is conducive to what he can do. And I feel like Sean McVay might be the right fit for him. And I was happy for him to, I almost turned the game off. And then with
Yeah.
like less than a minute, here they come. The Rams go 98 yards with 10 seconds left and throws a touchdown. I mean, it was amazing. And I felt, I was happy for him. But if you're a Raiders fan, you've got to be livid.
I just don't understand how and once again the Raiders, I mean, they got after Mayfield, which was good. I mean, they were getting some pressure, but like you said, Baker Mayfield was a good quarterback and had some good games in Cleveland and he's kind of been hopping around, but like you said, I think he's a system friendly quarterback. Typically you don't see him going down the field. Now, obviously, in this game, he was able to get a longer pass, but I think he's more of a short, kind of dink and dunk. He can get a little more velocity on the ball, and he uses his legs to move around and make plays adjust and happen. So, from the ashes, the Rams, like we said, were out of quarterbacks. Old Mother Hubbard, only Baker Mayfield's in the cupboard. So bring him out and see what happens.
Yeah, imagine they get hot right now. They go on a little streak.
I mean, maybe that. I got to say, with wide receivers, they lost Woods. Everybody's injured. Cooper Kupp's injured. I mean, everybody on that team is having issues. Maybe you bring in a guy who's been to the bottom of the barrel and is just looking for opportunity and is hungry, and maybe McVay can pull that talent out of him that's been lost for so long.
I
I don't
think
know. We'll
so.
see.
You heard it here first. I
There
think
you go.
McVay is going to pull out the talent in Baker Mayfield that we have been waiting to see. All right, let's jump into some NFL news. So there's a belief within the 49ers organization and around the league that defensive coordinator DeMarco Ryan is in line to become a head coach in 2023. If that happens, this is the third straight year the 49ers staff has produced a head coach. It was Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel. And then it would be DeMarco Ryans. They are just like, are they like the Alabama of coaching, right? Just like a factory.
And I love those guys. Most of those guys, especially Saleh, he's so energetic and he runs up and down the lines. And I mean, he's all over the place. But yeah, DeMeco Ryans was a great player. Loved him as a player, love him as a coach, but they just keep turning out their defensive coordinators, and they've got a great defense as well. So, I mean, they have guys that know what they're doing, have pieces in place, and yeah, I think he definitely deserves a shot as a head coach.
Yeah, no, for sure. And 49ers, always such a good run organization. They're just producing head coaches left and right. Here's an interesting tidbit for today's 49ers game, since we're talking about them. So during 23 NFL seasons, Tom Brady has only played one game in San Francisco. It was week 10 in 2016. Yep. It was raining. And so for today, it's only his second game. And the forecast calls for, you guessed it, rain.
Isn't he from that area?
Yes.
He is, right? Okay, so, and I think he always talked about as a kid maybe playing for San Francisco or maybe wanting to end up in San Francisco. So
yeah,
I don't know, but wow, that's amazing. Only twice.
I know. You would think it would be more.
Yeah, I would think over his career way more than twice, but hey, there you go.
That's why we have stats. Interesting stats to try to pull out for you guys.
That's why you dig them out of there, Nikki.
I know. I try to. I was digging this morning now. So Lamar Jackson might not play again until Christmas, as he is still healing from his sprained PCL. Chip, what do you think about that? Because to me, Huntley, I know he's no Lamar Jackson, but he's a pretty damn good backup, and he knows that system, and he's kind of like a little mini Lamar. I think he'll be okay getting him through the next couple weeks.
I think so. Huntley has, and he's not, like you said, the same quarter. He has similar tools, but not as athletic. And like you said, he's been in the system for a while. And he's one of those guys that always gets looked at, at the end of the season when teams need a backup or are struggling at quarterback. He's always one of those guys that'll pop into a conversation, usually for other NFL franchises who have a problem filling quarterback. So I think he'll be serviceable. And I think the Ravens obviously realize Lamar Jackson, free agent, he's going to be tossed to the wolves and money's going to be everywhere. So maybe also from their organizational standpoint, you want to get a look at Huntley if you can't retain Lamar Jackson, or if if they don't match money, or if, he decides to go somewhere else in free agency. So you get a good look at him and he'll probably play, and we'll see what the story is.
What do you think the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson?
This is something that NFL franchises, some of them understand it and others don't. At the quarterback position, if you don't sign your quarterback early, then the salaries escalate every year. Bonuses get higher. Typically, the salary cap's going to go up. Now, because of COVID and other things, these past couple of years, you've kind of hit the salary cap didn't go up and things kind of changed. But quarterback is the most important position in the NFL. And if you've got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, I don't understand how he gets to free agency. You should have locked him up before. He's had some injuries, but I don't know the amount of money that's going to come at him. Some of the teams that'll have the most salary cap room next year, Falcons will be one. There are a couple other teams towards the top, but all those people are going to be able to put in massive amounts of money to throw his way if needed. So I don't know. I don't think they can retain him personally. I don't know what their salary cap is next year, but I don't think he stays in Baltimore.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
I mean, I just don't see a reason. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm going, why didn't you guys pay me? I've done so much for this organization, and I've brought a lot of fans. I've brought a lot of wins.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you pay me? And now you're going to have to deal with the repercussions of that, and there's going to be a lot of money thrown at him. So
yeah, I feel
We'll see
like
what the story is.
he can have his pick. And it's wild to me because honestly, look at the Ravens the past couple of years, especially that defense that likes to just give up games in the last 2 minutes. They never address the wide receiver position. They haven't, and it's like, I don't know, since 2012. So it's kind of like, where would this team be without him?
Yep. And I think that's the one thing you look at, obviously, when you're looking at how you build your team. You usually build it. The quarterback position is it's the most important position. So you need to have that position locked up if you're going to have a winning team, I think, personally. So I was trying to pull up the cap real quick just to see what they have. And it looks like, some of the top teams, I mean, the cap space for the Bears, where they have Fields, is 117 million. The Falcons will have 69 million. The Giants will have 53 million. Those are just some of the top three teams. So the Ravens will have 40. Well, they'll have 40.4, almost 40.5 million. So, I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change. But some of those other teams we mentioned, obviously the Bears being at 117 million. Holy cow, that's a lot of dough.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can get some more talent on offense and stuff.
Well, Justin Fields, another surprise out of that kid who never thought he was really didn't seem like he was going to develop, been kind of stagnant, and then all of a sudden, wow, his year this year, rushing touchdowns, making plays happen, and pretty much just taking over games when he needs to, starting to come into his own. So maybe the Bears do have their quarterback locked up.
I think they do. And, at first I was like, God, is this kid a bust? Right. But then it's like, again, you're looking at a team who not exactly putting a ton of pieces around to help him. So he's got to take this offense and just carry the team. And my God, I mean, he's having a phenomenal year with not a lot to work with. And quite frankly, I don't really love their play calling and their style of offense.
Justin Fields runs for his life pretty much most of the time, it seems like.
Yeah, so maybe they'll invest in the offensive line there. Hey, Lamar Jackson wants to come to New York. I don't hate it. So, I'd roll with that. Last piece in NFL news. So I don't know if you saw this, but the Saints intend to appeal. They got assessed a $500,000 fine for Cam Jordan's supposed faking his injury. Now, he was out for 4 plays, and they did say that he was evaluated, and I believe he had an acute midfoot sprain. So problem here is, and I know Cincinnati got fined $50,000 for doing the same thing. Allegedly here, the coaches were caught telling him to do that, but the Saints do intend to appeal this $500,000 fine.
I don't understand. I mean, if you're professionals, you can't. I understand why the Saints were trying to do this. I completely understand from a winning and losing standpoint what your deal is. But you're a professional. You shouldn't be trying to tank plays, or you shouldn't be trying to slow down the game, or you shouldn't be trying to stop momentum from another team, etc. So I don't know. I think this is something that's definitely going to be looked at. I think the coach, did Allen get a fine too? I heard maybe, or
I think he might have.
He might have, but I just think, listen, there's a difference between college and NFL, and when you're a professional, you can't. At least in my eyes, you can't do that. This is you damage the integrity of the game. So don't do stuff like that. Don't the outcome isn't what you want. I understand why you're doing it, but just don't. That lowers the quality of the game. That lowers the way you look at professionals, and I don't like it at all. So
Yeah.
take your fine, pay it. Don't do that again, please.
Yeah. What do you think about Dennis Allen there? Is he on the coaching hot seat?
I mean, considering what type of shape the Saints were in, I mean, they've been in bad shape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think so. But like we've been talking about all year, the NFC South is kind of all over the place. The most tenured coach is the Falcons head coach. So, I mean, he just came over from Tennessee. So, Arthur Smith just came over. So, the NFC South right now is kind of a mess. And the Buccaneers still, have first place. But I think Allen is kind of on the hot seat. It'll be interesting to see that organization. I think they're still in salary cap, just hell.
They are. Yes.
For this upcoming year, next year. And I think they still have some draft picks, not a lot. So they're kind of hanging on by a thread. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up going somewhere else or, taking another job and they get somebody else in there. But we'll see. Saints are definitely in rough shape, I think. Cap rise and a lot of other issues as well.
Yeah, but they got a lot of talent, and that defense can be good.
Yeah, they definitely have that, and I just think the Michael Thomas thing, they don't know what's going on with him. He's probably – I mean, I don't know how many years he has left on his deal. He's probably moving on. They got great running backs, but sometimes they'll get banged up, and you got to figure out what to do with Kamara. And, I mean, they got some pieces, but they just got to get – they got to get their nucleus back. I think they've depended upon certain players, and those players have kind of been – Thomas obviously is injured. Kamara took some injuries earlier this year, and he's out. So you got to stabilize that franchise after Peyton and Breeze left. You got to figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. I think his seat is slightly warm, I think. Yes. I could see listen, I'm usually not a big fan of just giving a coach the boot after 1 year unless it's like Nathaniel Hackett and it's egregious, right? I think let's give somebody at least a couple years, give the team a little continuity. I understand players aren't always on the same team every single year. I get that. But to me it's let's at least say you're going to have X amount of years with us. So but for me, Nathaniel Hackett he's got to be done after this year.
Well, I heard some rumors, and I was kind of skimming through articles that the organization was going to ask Denver if Russell Wilson could pay back something or give money back or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it might have been joke news. It might have been just clickbait, but I think but honestly, and you and I've been a really big advocate for Russell Wilson in the beginning of the year, and obviously it has not panned out well. But I think if, as a player, he obviously doesn't want to play the way he's playing right now. And now the defense, we saw some clips last week of the defense coming after him saying, hey, look, do your job, and a little sideline commentary. But I don't know, if you're a player and you haven't hit your expectations, what do you think about giving back some of your salary or giving a portion of that back? How would you feel, Nikki, if you were an NFL player and they were like, hey, you didn't really play up to the contract we gave you. Can you give us some of that back?
Has that ever happened before?
I don't think so. I've heard of hometown discounts. I've never heard of play discounts.
Yeah, hey, I didn't hit my metrics on I get it for the rest of us in the real world. If we don't hit, whatever your metrics and your goals are, maybe you don't get your bonus. You never give back your salary though. And I feel like in football, for me, I'd have an issue with that because it's never just one thing. It's not like Russell Wilson just went to Denver and forgot how to play good football. Yeah. And you can argue that Pete Carroll covered up a lot of his maybe issues. And I get that. And I understand the defense's frustration because it almost feels like a waste. They are so good. And I get it. But again, I think we have a coaching issue here. And combine that with maybe he's not a great fit for Russell Wilson. I mean, not to harp on the Giants, but look how important coaching is. Look what Brian Daboll's done. He took a 4-win team, and turned it around. So I think a lot of this is finding the right fit for Russell Wilson. That offense has been just non-existent, like goo, as you love to say. I think it's a lot of things, and I would hate to have to give back a portion of my salary for something that I'm a part of the problem, but I'm not the reason either. I'm not the sole reason for not being successful. Would you give your salary back?
I don't know. I think honestly, I mean, it's so much money. And I guess if you told me that you were going to make certain moves that could help the team, maybe if the Broncos came to me and I was Russell Wilson, they said, "Look, man, we gave you X amount of money. These are our plans for the offseason. We want to do this to help you. We want to do that to help you, but the cap is tight in these areas. Can we, renegotiate?" Maybe I'd come at it like that if I was Denver, as opposed to saying, "Hey, man, you didn't play what you needed to do. You need to get back, write a check to us or something." So maybe I would position it like that if you were going to look at it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was Russell Wilson and I realized, obviously, I was coming to a franchise to help bring them a Super Bowl. And like you said, it's not just him. There's everything around him that you have to account for. Um, if the franchise came back to me and said, "Look, we want to reinvest. This will make you better. This will make us better," I would listen to giving. I would give maybe a little bit back to make sure the team would be better, or maybe you're looked upon better by the franchise. But I'm not giving back a huge chunk just to give it back, I don't think.
No, I'm
Yeah.
definitely not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
greedy. No. So I'm yeah, I'm not doing that. Do what Tom Brady does. He's always giving the hometown discount,
Mhm.
and we know that. So last week Evan and I touched on if we think Aaron Rodgers retires. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the ship has sailed. Although Watson, their draft pick, is starting to cut. He's starting to show why he was drafted and why he's
Mhm.
starting to come alive. His past couple fantasy weeks have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Your offensive line, they've missed their top tackle for a little bit, and
Yeah.
also Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he has done everything already. He's got MVPs. He's got rings. He's got he's done what he needs to do. So I don't know. I think if I'm him, I'd go off into the sunset and join Pat McAfee's podcast and just have a different point of view on a show. But yeah, why keep putting yourself through what you're going through on a weekly basis?
Yeah, go host Jeopardy or something. So
There you
Evan
go.
and we disagreed a little bit in the sense of just how much of a seat at the table can Aaron Rodgers have. And I understand that he should have some input for everything that he has done for that organization. But at the end of the day, the front office is the front office, and
Yep.
they're going to do what they feel is best, whether we all agree with it or not. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have a seat at the table or have some input. I think Evan and I disagreed on the amount. How much do you think that Aaron Rodgers should be involved in football decisions? And I
Mm.
understand it's like, I think we should get this player. I get all that. And I can be cool with that. Seems like to me he gets upset like when they just completely don't listen to him. And I understand that's frustrating, but how much should he expect them to listen?
I think on the offensive side of the football, he should have a really big input on how that goes. And I mean, he knows that franchise inside and out. He knows the players and he knows a lot of the linemen. And, he's a great recruiting tool. And they tried to
Yeah.
use him kind of, last year and trying to bring people there. And I think he should have, a lot to say offensively. Defensively, no, you don't need to worry about that side of the football. But offensive player personnel decisions, why wouldn't you go to your Hall of Fame, Super Bowl ring quarterback and say, "Hey, look, man, we kind of want to do this. What do you think? Or can you call this guy?" Or, I would definitely have him at the table when those decisions get made. It'll put him at ease and it lets him know that, hey, you're important to us, even though we went out and drafted Jordan Love and have done so many things to make you seem not important,
Yes.
but you are important. So,
Yes.
but he might be done with that whole, if I was him, I'd be done with that whole racket. I'd just be
Yeah.
like, hey, good, you got him, hey, you paid me and then you kept him. And now, you guys got hit twice for doing that. So
Yeah.
I'd be out of there and I'd just take it easy, go to a beach somewhere, hang out with Pat McAfee and just do podcasts and sports shows.
Yeah. I think that maybe he should. I wonder if he'll be like Tom Brady and just keep pushing it and keep pushing it till you
Yeah,
can't
I
go
just don't
anymore.
understand why. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, if you've got the ingredients around you, I think Green Bay knew they weren't going to have. When you get Devontae Adams leaves, I think Aaron Rodgers is just like, wow, that's my guy. I
Yeah.
probably would have retired there, me personally, but the amount of
Yeah.
money he got to sit for a year, you know,
Yeah.
he thought otherwise. So
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, we will see. And we will see what the injury report has for us today. Is it out yet, or is
yeah,
it a
we
book?
have some stuff trickling in. So I do know it sounded like Saquon Barkley is going to be active.
Oof.
So that's good. I know you guys have a huge game today.
Yes.
So definitely taking a look at that, and I'm hopefully he'll be good to go. As we mentioned earlier, not expected to play Lamar Jackson. Seattle's going to have some issues today running the football. They're going to have no Kenneth Walker III and no DJ Dallas. Damian
Oh.
Harris for New England is going to be expected to be out as well. Some of the guys that have already been ruled out are Treylon Burks, Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks, Hayden Hurst, Cortland Sutton, Kadarius Toney, Jacob Myers, and Rondell Moore, or Jacoby Myers, excuse me. Game time decisions, like we said, Saquon is trending towards a yes. Zay Jones is trending towards yes. Leonard Fournette, yes, and also Josh Jacobs. Expected to plays so far. Amari Cooper is active. Trevor Lawrence is active, and DK Metcalf is trending towards the 4 o'clock game as well. Some new ones that just popped up. Joe Mixon is going to be active coming off a concussion. That means Sammy P. Ryan owners will take a little hit today. Najee Harris is active. Deontay Johnson is active as well.
All
So,
right.
quick snapshot of the injuries. And if we get any more updates during the show, I will bring them to you live.
Wonderful. Kadarius Toney. I would just like to tell everybody that I told you so. That's all.
Very true. Very true.
I mean,
Well, he had one good game for me, and that was it.
yeah. Yeah.
And then other than that, he's been injured. So
Yeah.
you were
Well,
right.
that's people were saying that, oh, well, he's going to light it up in Kansas City and he's going to be the go-to guy. And he just didn't want to play in New York. Now, listen, I know there are rumors and that was kind of floating around. Actually, the rumor was that he just couldn't get the playbook down.
Yeah.
So, but he is always injured. So then he goes to Kansas City and it's just like, oh, surprise, surprise. Now you have a hamstring issue. It's always something. It's always one or the other. But I'm glad to see Joe Mixon is active. I have him in fantasy.
Ooh, there you go.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. All right. So speaking of fantasy, do you have any heroes and villains for this week?
Oh, God. My heroes last week, well, Christian McCaffrey has been a guy that I've had in my league this year, and he's done really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
In our league scoring last year in Superflex, last week, he had 24.6. And also the Browns defense. When I was looking for heroes, I went back and they had played Houston. The defense had put up 32 points.
Oh, oh my
Total,
God.
yes. And I went,
Wow.
holy cow. So those are some of
Wow.
the heroes I saw in my league and on my team last week.
Yeah, so Devonta Smith for me, thank you. I think I got about 24 points out of him. So that was nice. Needed that. Yeah, gave me that like last little push before the playoffs. So enjoyed that. Kenyon Drake and your 3 points. I
Oh
just
boy.
can't. I
Definitely a
can't.
villain. Yeah, I
He's a
can't.
villain.
Well, I had told, just like I told you guys, I had picked up Deshaun Watson and I've had him since our
Yeah.
draft, and I've just been stashing and stashing. And as my season comes to an end, I am definitely in last place. First year doing a super flex league, I definitely learned a lot, but
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson was my villain. 5.3 points last week against
Oh,
Houston. Yeah, in a super flex position. So that was rough. Very,
that
very
was
rough.
rough. Okay,
Yeah.
so did you expect Deshaun Watson to come out rusty? Because I had said this on a
Yeah.
couple other shows and people were like, no, he's just going to start slinging it. No problem.
No, quarterback, we all know quarterback is the fastest position with the most things you have to memorize and read and react. And, you do so many things as a quarterback in the NFL. Game speed and practice speed is not even close. It's something he's going to work his way back into. I figured against Houston, who's one of the worst defensive teams in the NFL,
Yeah.
he would do better than 5.3 points. I mean, that's not even a touchdown, folks. So I figured he'd have a better game. But, yeah, no, this will be something he'll work into. And if you're a Cleveland fan, you're still kind of going, we gave up our franchise pretty much, a lot of draft picks to make sure that this was our guy. So Cleveland fans are holding their breath, but we'll see what he has today against Cincinnati, which should be a good game.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because bless you.
Bless me.
Because don't you love live? Don't you love being live?
Live podcast. Sneeze. Bless me.
Yes, all types of things. I remember, I mean, God, I've had like my ring light fall, my microphone, my drink, my foot. It's just like, okay, I can't imagine if I was on TV. It'd probably be a disaster. Well, I'm glad you talked about that matchup because I'm a big fan of starting Joe Burrow today in fantasy. So we'll talk about some starts that we like. I know he's a little high up there. I think he's like 7,000 if you're playing daily fantasy. But if you're just setting your lineup, I know he's 0-4 against the Browns, but he's averaging 309 yards in this series, 2 touchdowns. Wow. I just think since he is running really hot right now, so Joe Burrow is like a must start for me.
Yeah, taking a look and just looking over DraftKings, I think the best value you're going to get today is probably Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Over under on that game is 51.5. It's one of the highest on the board against Minnesota. And he's only 5,600. So definitely, nice. I think if you're looking for value and a must start today, definitely Jared Goff would be a guy at the quarterback position. I would definitely take a look at starting.
So should we even go as far and say DeAndre Swift? Think he's about 5,800?
Yeah, I loved and looking at that too. Same thing. I mean, you've got two backs there with Williams and Swift. I think it's difficult to see which one gets what work. Sometimes Williams, sometimes near the goal line. I think both those guys today really I have one lineup I generated today that actually has both of them in there because you never know who's really going to get a touchdown. So like I said, I think that game, the Minnesota game, you're going to have a lot of points scored. That's the highest over under, I think, just for the afternoon slate of 1 o'clock to 4. So that should be a good matchup as well. So yeah, I find a way to put both those guys. Another one, Tony Pollard, I think is another guy who could have a really big day today. So yeah, some running backs who I really like in DraftKings today. Those are two guys.
Yeah. I like Tyler Lockett today. As you said, Seattle's going to have a hard time running the ball. So I think they're a little pass happy.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call. I know DK Metcalf is trending towards starting. If he doesn't start, I think you definitely put Lockett in some of your lineups. I know that value-wise, if you're looking for somebody that's a little bit cheaper, Amon St. Brown is not really value. He's going to be 7,800, but you can stack him with Golf. And you should have you could have a really good day. As far as the best value I see, 5,900, Garrett Wilson, KC versus Denver, or excuse me, the Jets versus Buffalo. They're projecting almost 2 touchdowns for him at 5,900. So he's a guy that might fit well into some lineups today if you're looking for value as well.
I am looking for what do I do at the tight end position? Because as you know, I complain every single week about the tight end position. What do you think about, and in terms of value, the Titans tight end? I can't pronounce his name. That's why I'm not saying it, everybody.
Yeah. I don't even want to try. Chigoziem Okowo?
Yeah. I kind of want. Okay, yeah. Listen, I'm from Jersey. Can barely speak correctly as it is, so can't throw too many these crazy names at me.
We apologize to him and we're sorry, but yeah, value wise today, he's 2,700 on DraftKings, projected to get somewhere around 9 or 10 points. The top tight end today is Dawson Knox, and he's just supposed to score around 10 or 11. So yeah, for 2,700, he is going to be probably your best value. Some guy after that, you can 3,100. Noah Fant is only expected to score maybe 3/4 of a point to a point more. So yeah, really, he's your best value right there, 2,700.
And I like it against the Jags. I think that's a decent matchup. It's not the best matchup, but it's probably one of the top 10, 15 matchups, I would think. So I don't hate that.
Yeah, no, that should be a good. I think honestly, and when you're building a lineup for tournament play and things like that, obviously money is going to be the number one, choice you need to make. And he's right up there in the top point total, and he's the best value at 2,700. So yeah, go with him. And like we do with tight ends, keep your fingers crossed. I mean, Kelsey is about the only tight end you can really book on week in and week out doing or having a good game. And he's usually the most expensive. So you want to try to find value. I think Hawkinson could have a good game. He's a lot more expensive. He's at 5,100. But like I said, take the game, that highest over-under in the afternoon slate. Hawkinson could have a good game as well.
Yeah. One of these years I'll get the tight end position correct. It's, you play fantasy football for so long, but it's just a tough position. Like you said, unless you're getting, Kittle or Kelsey, I mean, forget it. You kind of have to stream it all year. You're going to have your guys middle of the pack that do decent for you, but God, it is such a boom or bust position, right? Like, I decided to roll with Fabian Moreau. I get a great week out of him, and then I get like Thursday night already, 0 points. So, it's just, I don't know what to do. I already have my villain for next week.
I was going to say, you've already you've foreshadowed a little bit maybe of a villain of next week. But tight end's tough. Very tough.
Tight end's really tough. You know what else is tough? Some of these betting lines are a little tough, but we're going to get into it because, there's a lot of fantasy implications in these games as well. Our teams just outside of fantasy, right? Giants got a big game against the Eagles. So let's see, and speaking of fantasy, that Minnesota-Detroit game, that might have the biggest fantasy implications going this week. Yeah.
Weird to say that. Minnesota and Detroit.
Yes.
It's just kind of a weird, I just don't understand those teams are not teams you think about. Minnesota, obviously at 10-2, they've done a lot and they've scored a lot of points, but just not a team that you're thinking in the Lions that would be coming out, guns blazing.
Well, good for them.
Yep. We're going to hope and see.
Yeah. So let's start with that game. Again, this is brought to you by Bet US. All right. So Detroit is favored by 1 over under 51.5. Well, I tell you, I'm going over on this one. And I'm going to take Detroit in the points.
All right. I like that. I think this one's going to dent the scoreboard. I mean, this one, I think we might see 70. I mean, it might be something ridiculous today. So that's what I'm all my DFS lineups have a lot of those players from both those teams in there. I think I hate Minnesota. I have Cousins in fantasy, and I think they're going to do it. I think they'll cover. But we're going to see. Detroit is on a little bit of a tear as of late.
Yeah.
But I think this will be a great game. So I will stick with Minnesota on this one. But I mean, this is going to dent the scoreboard, I think. I think we're going to have a lot of points scored.
Oh, yeah. A lot of points are coming this way. All right. Next up, we have Buffalo and the New York Jets. So Buffalo is favored by 10 over under 43.5.
Well, remember now, the Jets have already beat Buffalo this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that spread's huge.
I think I'm going to take the Jets and the points. They're going to play them close.
I just think because of the point total, I think you have to.
Yeah.
But I honestly think, I think Buffalo is going to get a revenge game. That was the game where Josh Allen messed up his elbow.
Yeah.
He's been I don't think he's been the same quarterback since that game. But we'll see what the story is. I mean, I think if you're betting, I think you have to take the points. I think you just have to, knowing this team. And actually, you know what? I'm going to tell her no. I think Buffalo's going to win overall. But I don't know if they cover that spread. I was going to lean on the Jets there and just take it, but I think Buffalo will win. They're going to get their revenge, but 10 is a lot of points.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I just feel like the Jets give them a really hard time. So that's okay. It's good that we differ. It makes the show entertaining. So I'm going to take the Jets, the points. I'm going to go over, but not by much. I think we're looking at like 45.
45?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll go under because last time they played, I think it was 21-10 or 21, something like that, I think it was. So I'll take under on that one.
All right. Let's see. What do we got next? Next up. Okay. One of the best rivalries in the league. We got the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh favored by 1 over under 36.5.
Kenny Pickett went out last week and Falcons beat them because Mariota threw an interception, which Ritter is starting today. Woohoo!
Yay!
So the Falcons get a look. Yeah, they finally get a look at their future. So, okay. So Pittsburgh, we're -1. I want to go. I think I'm probably going to take Baltimore to win and probably to cover.
Yeah.
I like Huntley and I like the over.
Oh, you think
That's
the over, huh?
I'm gonna say over on this one.
I'm gonna go under, but I do like Baltimore to win and cover, but I think we're under on this one.
All right. I like it so
Okay.
far. I'm taking some underdogs here.
Yeah.
I
All right,
like
moving right along. Oh boy. The Philadelphia Eagles traveling to
it.
MetLife Stadium to take on my New York Giants. Philly is favored by 7.5. Why do you have to do that to me with the half point
The
there?
half point, the
Uh,
hook. Oh.
and 44.5 over under.
I mean,
Oh
Nikki,
gosh.
you know what? Talk to me. I mean, Jalen Hurts has scored, I think, the most points in their offense in Philadelphia history into the season right now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what's the weather like there? Is there going to be any weather issues up there today or anything?
So it's chilly, cloudy, and it's raining on and off.
Really?
Not pouring, but it's raining here and
Okay.
there.
Well, both these teams, I think, well, depending upon Saquon and how he can feel, both these teams, I feel like, can run the football, and Hurts obviously can chuck it around as well. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe the under. I think the under and that hook, that 7.5 is dangerous. I
Yeah,
mean, I'd probably lean. I would take Philly because of your that hook is a critical thing.
I know. I'm
So
with
yeah,
you.
that's what I'm going to take.
I'm with you all the way on that one, actually. So I like the under, I like Philly. I like Philly all the way on this. It breaks my heart. I so desperately want to be wrong. So
Well, I think also the pass rush, the Giants, if they have everybody, if they have
yeah.
Thibodeau and they have their full, is anybody injured? Anybody on the defensive line that might not play?
Um,
I
I
think
have
they're probably full strength.
I think they're full and I gotta think about line, but is McKinney back? They might be full strength, might have maybe one or two guys out. So
Okay.
yeah,
I
I
really,
know Ojulari's back. Looks like he was a little bit on account last week. So maybe this week, going opposite, Kayvon out there. So
I really like that pass. If they
yeah,
can get up the field and keep Hurts in the pocket,
yeah,
that's going to be a huge win for them today. So don't let Hurts get out and start moving around. Just keep him contained
yeah,
right in that pocket because they have good push right up the middle. The Giants have a great defensive line. As long as they can get push right up the
yeah.
middle, I think they can put them in some bad spots.
I think so too. I need you to
Yep.
dial it up today, Wink. No prevent defense. I don't want to see it. Just keep your foot on the gas pedal. And hopefully if the Giants can control time and possession here with the run game a
Yeah.
little bit. And those Philadelphia Eagles corners can be exposed. So there's a
Yeah.
little hope today for my Giants. I don't love it. It is home. So we'll see. I am nervous for it, but in terms of betting, I think you gotta take the Eagles here.
And by the way, I take that back. Atlanta's on a bye. I apologize for that. Ritter's going to start
Oh,
after this week. I got too excited. I was so excited that
you're
Ritter's
so
already
excited.
got
So excited.
so excited that Ritter's starting that I wanted him to play this week, but he doesn't play this week.
Next week.
Next week.
Next week. All right, let's go to another great rival. I guess it's rival week here every week at the end of the season. Cleveland
Yep.
Browns, Cincinnati Bengals. Cincy is favored by 4.5 over under 47.
I got to tell you, the Cleveland defense playing now, I know this is Houston. Like I said, put up like 32 points in fantasy last week, which was
Yeah.
nuts. So I think Cincinnati's probably going to cover, but I would definitely. I don't know if they can do what they did last week. Maybe the over.
I think I'm going to roll over on this one.
This
I'm
one,
going to
the
roll with the
series
over.
of them scoring a lot of points against each other is probably fairly high now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they can do what they did last week. So yeah, I would take the over, but I think Cincinnati wins this football game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
With you on that one. All right, let's roll to Jacksonville and Tennessee. Tennessee is favored by 3 over under 41.5.
Ooh.
I just don't like this game.
No, I mean, I think 41, I just don't. With Treylon Burks being out for Tennessee, I think Derrick Henry today, even though he's 7,900, I think he's the top running back on DraftKings as far as money is concerned. I think he has a monster day today against Jacksonville. So, yeah, I'll take the over. and Tennessee to cover.
I like Tennessee to cover. We're going to go under.
You're going to go under?
I feel like some sloppiness is, due
Is
for both of these teams today. Yeah, I'm feeling like a little bit of sloppiness. I feel like we get some penalties that are just going to set both teams back. So I'm going to go under here. And I feel like Jacksonville is just going to come out and kind of play hard. So
yeah, well, I like that. And we had Trevor Lawrence. He's expected to play. And I just got an update right now that Zay Jones is going to be active today. So he's 4,700 on DraftKings, supposed to score double-digit points. If you need a deep, deep dive for a receiver, he might be a guy you look at.
All right. We love that. All right. Let's go to the Texas Bowl. Whoa. Okay. Cowboys are favored by 17. Over under is 44.
That's huge.
It's friggin' huge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Houston. I mean, we both know that this is a football team that needs a lot of help all over the place. So I don't know, though. This is an NFL game. Usually you don't see scores like this. I mean, I would take Dallas, but I don't know if they cover. 17 and a half is a ton.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah. And
I don't usually like to bet that.
Yeah. I think Dallas wins, but I don't know if it's by 17 and a half.
Yeah. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take I'll take Houston and the points there. Yeah. What over under is 44. I mean, well, obviously we see that, maybe the Cowboys can just score 40 on their own. I actually think 44 is probably right.
I think I'm going to go over and look out. I think you might have like a sack record today. Dallas might go out and have 15. They might have 15 sacks in one game, or maybe 10 sacks in one game. That would be the scary. If I'm Houston and if I'm Davis Mills, I'm going, oh God, please hand it off. I mean, get the Advil on the sidelines ready, get the ice cold.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day.
Yeah. So this is a little, okay. That's a little side prop that we'll have here on Channelside.
What do you
over
think?
under on sacks.
Let's say, okay, I bet. What are they average in a game? I don't even know. I bet you might have double-digit sacks today. I think 10. I'm going to say 10. I think that's really high.
It's super
but I'm
high.
going to say 10.
All right. I'm going to go under. I'm going to say 5, 6. Say about a half that.
I think 6. I think Dallas Cowboys, let's see if we can't. Sacks per game. So they're averaging almost 4, 3.89.
Okay.
So, yeah, that would be – so 3.89. Okay, maybe 10's a little. I like 8 then. I'm going to say 8 sacks. I think they double what they do in a game.
All right. I'm going to I'll hold strong at 6.
Okay. All right.
Okay. These little side prop bets for you guys. I like it too. All right. Where are we at now? Okay. Miami and the LA Chargers. So Miami is favored by, wow, why is that? Okay. Are we going out of order? I guess so.
Uh-oh. That's all right.
That's all right.
Order matters.
Miami is favored by 3. Over under is 55.
Man, that's high.
That's a lot. But then I feel like, is Miami just going to tee off on this Chargers defense? That is
yeah, look what happened. Well, the run game, look what, we had Jacobs who ran through them.
Yeah.
Against the Chargers. So maybe Jeff Wilson's a start today for Miami. Fantasy-wise. Outside, obviously, the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, this is the 8:20. So 54 and a half, I think, is the highest line on the board today. So, yeah, why not? If everybody's saying it's going to be that many, it should be over. And I take Miami to cover.
Same. And I'm glad we got to this game because I got a lot of questions today about should you start Tua or Herbert. So defense aside, here's my thing with Herbert. Since they're leaning so heavy on Eckler, I feel like he's going to take some yardage and touchdowns away from him. However, it's not like either defense is great against a pass rush. So in that sense, it's a toss-up, but I would edge to Tua on this one.
Yeah, I think that, Tyreek Hill this year has just been a man-child. He has been all over the field. So I think he has another good game. Tua continuing to find ways to win in Miami. So keep doing what you're doing. But, yeah, I think Tua, and also the offensive line for the Chargers banged up. They're missing some tackles and missing some people. So yeah, I think it might be Miami does have some edge rushers up there, and they can get after the quarterback. So, yeah, Herbert, you might be in a little bit of trouble. I'd probably start Tua.
Got it. All right. Now we will jump back to the 425 game. This
There we
is
go.
not me not being able to read. All right, Bet US. Put it in order, will you? All right. We have the Panthers taking on the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 3.5. Over under 44.5.
That is like right on the number for me. That's pretty close. I'm gonna say we're in Seattle. I don't know. The weather's an issue. I'm gonna go ahead and say under.
Under.
And yeah, Carolina, like I said, you're just as a franchise, you don't know who your quarterback is. You're all over the place. Seattle covers.
Yeah, I'm with
That's
you.
what I
Seattle
think.
covers. Take the under. I like that.
Yep.
Let's see. All right. Tampa Bay and the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 3.5. Over under 38.
That is such a hard. That's just so
I know.
low.
I know.
God.
But that 49ers defense is.
Yeah. Tom Brady, like we said, has had he's starting to pick it up, was able to lead a drive, but fantasy wise, I don't know, just been lackluster in my eyes. I think what do you think on it? I'm gonna say under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
And
under.
what was the spread again?
3.5.
Ugh.
I don't like that.
And Tampa's getting the points?
Yeah. I might roll. I think I'm gonna roll with that.
I think actually, yeah. I think I'll roll. I think I'll roll with Tampa, I guess.
Yep. And I'll go under on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last game. Nope, not our last one because we have a Monday night game. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs taking on Denver Broncos. Kansas City's favored by 9.5. Over under is 44.
I think Mahomes always does really well. But like we said, Denver's defense, unbelievable against the pass. Unbelievable. So they've done really well. So I'll go under.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City can cover. I think Kansas City will cover the points, but I'll go under, even though I feel like this one could get away. I feel like this one can get away quickly if the offense doesn't give the defense a break at least. Kansas City's offense gets on the field a lot. It could be a long day.
Yeah. And that's exactly why I'm going to go over on that. I think the Denver defense is going to get gassed. So I think Kansas City covers, but I think Denver's going to play the defense. They'll play them hard. And by the fourth quarter, it's just they're going to be gassed. So I'm going to go over on that one.
Yep. I like it. Over as well.
All right. Now we can get to the final game here for week 14. Monday night, we have the New England Patriots and Arizona Cardinals. Patriots are favored by 1. Over under 43.5.
I heard, rumor has it, and we'll have to check the injury report as we get towards Monday night. New England could be starting or lose 3 starting offensive linemen for this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are a couple of guys who were banged up. So, I mean, right now, I'm going to say under.
Yeah.
And what was the spread?
1.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna take Arizona.
I would say I'd probably take the point with Arizona, and they're at home. And also definitely have to watch the trending of the injury report because I do think the Patriots will end up being pretty banged up in the offensive line department, which means Arizona does have some great pass rushers. Zaven Collins, the guy they drafted, great middle linebacker, really athletic. I think he might have a big day. So, yeah, I'll take Arizona plus the 1.
Yeah, me too. Arizona has worked out for me when I take them and the points. So, they get a lot of crap, but they've worked out, and so is Detroit. So I'm looking forward to Minnesota, Detroit in terms of fantasy. I think that's a great matchup to watch. I'm interested to see how this kid Purdy does. I mean, over there in San Fran, do you think this kid was like, hey, my first NFL start and it's against Tom Brady? I mean, it's like 22 years old. Like,
what a moment. That kid's got to be, you're sitting in your locker, you're getting your opportunity and you're playing the greatest quarterback of all time. So, I think as a player, I would have the hardest time because you're a fan at heart. You're a kid at heart. Like after that game is over, knowing that you're going to shake Tom Brady's hand because quarterbacks, they always find quarterbacks. And Tom Brady, he'll definitely find him. And what a moment for him. We'll see how he performs and what happens. But as a kid watching that guy play and seeing him do what he's done, I'd be so excited for the end of the game, regardless of what happens, I think.
Be a little like starstruck, right? And
Yep.
just kind of like, oh my God. It's hard to. I remember when I was at training camp covering the Giants for JSN, and Eli Manning was there one of the days I was there. And everybody knows I'm a huge Eli Manning fan. And you got to keep it in, right? You have to be professional. But on the inside, I was like, fangirling out. But on the outside, you definitely couldn't tell. It was just like, oh, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you.
That's the thing. The toughest thing people don't understand was when you get press credentials or press passes and you're on the field. It's great because you have a passion, obviously, for what we do, covering those. But like you said, your inner child, when you see a hero or somebody that you love, as a player, you have to, like you said, take a deep breath and go, hey, remember, you have a press sticker, you have a press pass. You can't act like a fan. You're here to do a job. So I think that's the greatest thing about what we do is we get a chance to be around those people and ask them questions and learn about how they do things. But the fan inside is always screaming out to to high five and just run over and hug them.
Yes. All right. So before we roll out of here, I know the Falcons are on a bye. I obviously am going to I don't know how I'm gonna get through Giants, Eagles, but what games are you watching today?
Man, I really, like we said, I think that Detroit Minnesota game, even for fantasy, is going to be huge. And Minnesota, they're underdogs. Is that right? I think that's what it was.
I think that's what it was. Hold on.
Which is crazy to me. This is another one of the games where the records don't match.
They are underdogs. Correct.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts? I mean, you got a 10-2 team, Minnesota, 5-7 Detroit. So I don't know what the story is, but that football game. And then honestly, I'm really leaning on the Giants today. I hate the Eagles. We all have a multiple passion for hating the Eagles. So I want Saquon to be okay. I want the defense to contain Hurts up the middle of the field and get a rush and get in his face. So I'll be pulling for you guys today. Hopefully the D-men can bring home a W.
I hope so. All right, guys, that is Channelside Bets for Week 14. Can't believe we're almost through the season. It was a quick season, and we think that Evan will be back next week. We don't know.
We do. As we get closer to the holidays, we'll all be doing family things. Are you doing anything big for Christmas, or are you just going to be at home?
Well, my sister always does this huge brunch, and she makes I'm looking forward to. She makes these delicious homemade egg, cheese, bacon bombs and like a garlic bread. So really, I don't even care about anything else. I'm just like, I want that. And she makes a great spiked Christmas punch. So just looking forward to all the food basically. And
all right. So I'm getting a ticket to Jersey then. I need to fly up.
Come on.
Perfect.
Come on. All right, guys. Enjoy all the games. We will be back next week.
Enjoy. Go Giants.